Brian, did you just say that you don't like challenges?
Yeah, when it comes to dating, no, I don't.
Okay, I think you're just self-admitting and not being an alpha, because that's what makes some relationships more exciting and for the guys to keep pursuing, because if it was safe and stable, it kind of gets boring.
No.
That's how girls...
Okay, first off, we're talking about dating. I absolutely engage in challenging things when it comes to my business, when it comes to all that. I'm not shying away from challenge. When it comes to dating, again, Proverbs 21:19, better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. I don't want my partner to be a challenge. I don't want to date a fence sitter chick. I don't want to date a girl who's playing hard to get, because if you play hard to get, you quickly become hard to want.
Wait, Brian, did you just...
Okay, shalom. Kwam yasha Allah. Kuhulim la Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us his beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan the Waf, just coming. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And as you can see, this he appears to be an Edomite, but he could be a Jake, because we don't go by skin color. But he used that, and there's a couple more scriptures that goes along with that too. Precepts, he used that Proverbs 21 and 19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. And in the NLT, the New Living Translation, it says it's better to live alone in the desert than with a quarrelsome, complaining wife. And with these Edomites, so-called white people, they're the ones that set it up where women can actually act the way that they act, through feminism and shit like that. Let's see here, though. Go to cross references in the blue letter here, and you can get a few more of these hookups right here. It says 21 and 9. It says, Proverbs 21 and 9, it is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. And these women, they, when you're calm, cool, and collective when it comes to these relationships, they just fucking lose it, because they feel like you should be fighting for them. You got chicks, they get their rocks off with you fighting with some other nigga over them or something, So you have to be aware and careful of this day and time of women. I thought it was more precepts on that than that. But let's go to the Apocrypha, though. I know the Apocrypha, chapter 25 and 26, it kind of, goes directly in on the woman, man. And these American women, it's nothing. It's all work, no reward with that shit these days. You can cut it out. You thinking anything, it's rare. It's rare, but I guess with anything, you gotta, you kind of taking a chance. But man, now it's almost like it's impossible for these women to be faithful, man. It's impossible for them to. And then they're not going to accept you as a man that generally will want multiple women anyway, because it's just within our nature. They're not accepting that shit here. You can cut that out. They most definitely are going to go against that with all force, because that's the way that Esau set it up, But, yeah, like this whole chapter right here pretty much goes in. But this is Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 25. Verse 16, it says, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman, right? Verse 17, Salakia, the wickedness of a woman changes her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. And when you look at these shows, all these shows that it'd be a bunch of women sitting around and talking about, how great they are and how they need this high value man and they're not selling it for less. But they'll have 1,000 bodies on them, man. Just nasty. You can just see the countenance of them just looking nasty. All they have going for them is a body. That's it. Little cute face, body, and that's what they running with these days. And they expect men to just fall all over them and go all out of their way to do all this kind of shit, fly me out and do all that. Like, man, it's all work with no reward, man. And that's the reason why a lot of them, they just getting banged and sent on their way. There ain't nobody, what kind of man with some sense, especially a six-figure man. He got a couple of M's in the bank. Why would he be dealing with somebody like, you know, these particular chicks that be on these shows like that? Like and we fly you out, we gonna, you know, do what we do and send your ass back home. And it just is what it is on that. Let me see what else they got here. Verse 18, it says, her husband shall sit among the neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. You know, and that's why we, you know, we pray for mercy, man, from Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man, and he don't send us one of these monsters, you know. Because some of these chicks, yeah, they'll, you know, they eye grabbers, like, you know, and Jake be falling for the bullshit, and then, you know, Jake, you know, end up in damn jail or in a damn grave, man. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with a lot of these chicks. Okay, what it says, verse 20, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. See? Because you always nagging and talking shit. The bitch won't shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you know, it's constantly arguing and I seen there was another video too. Let me see. I might be able to find this other one. But the chick was talking about let me see if I can find this Salakia. I think it was on my other phone I was looking at. But it was basically like one of, you know, one of them same types of podcasts. And the chick was talking about she wanted somebody to handle her. And the guy was like, well, shit, I'm going to work every goddamn day. I don't want to come home to a secondary job or handling your ass. You know, I'm looking for some nurturing when I get to the crib. But this is the mindset, man, that we're living in. And, you know, we're going to go back to, you know, that real positive state of what a man is and what a woman is in the kingdom, man. That's what we, you know, one of the things we're going to enjoy. Because Esau, he has totally wrecked relationships in this world. You can't enjoy your children. You know, that Ecclesiastes 25:7 talks about enjoying your children, but you can't enjoy no damn children here in this man's kingdom. He done tore all that apart. You know, he has made it to the point where these women can weaponize your children against you, man. Have your ass on child support, alimony, a bunch of other shit, and then at the same time she's giving you a hassle about seeing the kids until she want to go somewhere. You know, and you know she can't find a babysitter. You automatically become the designated babysitter when her ass want to fly out somewhere and go and be a slut bucket. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it. You know, other than that, she's giving you problems about seeing the children. And it's just, you know, I guess on this side, it's just, it's best to just chill, man. Verse 21, it's Ecclesiastes 25:21. It says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. And that's what a lot of men do. You know, they see their ass. They see, as a matter of fact, these days, you got goddamn Grimace from McDonald's out here, man, prideful as hell. You know, if they got a somewhat of a shape, you know, they can be 400 pounds, you know, with somewhat of a shape, and they out here, you know, showing they shit off. They prideful as hell, you know. But a lot of men, they fall for those. It's really over, you know, overall, you're being seduced. You know, when you see these chicks and they ain't got nothing on like that, and you out, you know, and they got them goddamn eyelashes on, that you're being seduced, man. That shit is like them bitches is like magicians or like wizards or some shit, man. With that shit, they got that goddamn wig on, you know, and all they need is a $5 outfit. Cause Jake don't be knowing, you know, Jake don't give a fuck about how much no outfit costs when it comes to them bearing skin, you know. They can go and get them a $2 outfit, man, and woo over a man, and next thing you know, you in a trap, man. It's a trap. You know, the book of Proverbs goes off into that. It goes off into, you know, it's, you know, it can be secondary as far as like twofold, so to speak, you know, when it comes to the wisdom, and when it comes into talking about the seducing woman, you know what I'm saying, or these philosophies and this way of living, this way of life, you know, that Esau set up, you know. But it can also be, you know, in this physical world, like shit, man. You have to really be on point with these chicks, man. And especially if you're having a daughter, she's just gonna grow up to be a damn problem soon, man. Okay, well, let's see what else we got here. It says, verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger and pudency, and much reproach. So that's the reason why, hey, the apostles always say to basically have your own shit. Have your own apartment, have your own place to live. You know what I'm saying? Don't be just out here just some nigga just dependent, laid up all the goddamn day long dependent on some chick, man. Because you definitely want to be able to, because these bitches is notorious for putting your bags out on the street. Locking your chains, the damn locks on your ass. You're not on the lease, none of that. So in these days and times, it's just better that you brothers, you have your own place and let her have her own place, and y'all just meet up when you meet up type of deal. Okay, it says, verse 23, a wicked woman abated the courage, maketh a heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that would not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Because if she got it out for you, boy, she's going super hardcore, all out 100% to try and wound your damn heart. And basically that's going into your mind. Have your ass out here just constantly, just angered and fucking vexed and just like, nah, man. Scripture talks about peace to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? It's healthy. So when you be dealing with these chicks and she constantly got you thinking on some shit and got you constantly, your mind all over here and over, no, you gotta cast all them imaginations down, man. Fuck that. You gotta keep it moving, man, because that shit is unhealthy. It's unhealthy to be stressed like that. Let her ass be stressed. But anyway, so it goes on to say, verse 24, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. And that's truth, man. It says, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. And that's basically what you see with these shows. You know what I'm saying? Those are wicked ass women and have the ability to fly across the world and get a box away. And then she'll be looking at you talking about, giving you ultimatums and shit about how you should be treating her. She's not thinking about, well, I'm gonna hold him down, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. These women don't know how to be wives, man. You ain't getting no wife here really in America. Them days are over with. Maybe back in the 1920s to maybe 1950s, type of deal. But around the 1960s and shit, and that's when America started to really fall when it came to the relationships. And that's all because of Esau, man. This is Esau. Esau is the one that's out here telling you, okay, you can't have multiple women, but this bitch can run around out here and have multiple men. Different baby daddies, getting child support from all of them, But that's the world that we live in, these women, they go hand in hand with the so-called white man's plan, man, to fuck your ass up. Okay, but it says, if she go, not as thou wouldest have her, verse 26, Lakia. Ecclesiastes 25 and 26, it says, if she go not as thou would have her, cut her off in thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. And a lot of men, they can't handle that, because they're so caught up in the flesh of her. They get to thinking about, well, damn, what if a nigga, she's sucking another nigga raw, and what if she, nah, you let that bitch go, man. Because there's plenty of other women out here. It's just that, men don't be thinking like that. You got to think with a clear head when it comes to them. Let them go ahead and do what they're going to do, because they're going to do it anyway. That's the whole thing, Let me see here. Chapter 26 goes off into a few things, too. And it starts off from the top because it's kind of continued with verse chapter 25. It says, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. And that's the reason why a lot of Jake, man, your life is not doubled here, man. Your shit is singled out because of one of these, these weird ass chicks, man. They'll, have your ass in some shit constantly, bro. A lot of dudes is in the grave and a lot of dudes is in jail because of some woman, man. Verse 2, it says, a virtuous woman rejoices for her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. You ain't get no peace here, man. That bitch put you through the ringer, bro. It says, a good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in a portion of them that fear the Lord. So, hey, what's going on now? What's up with it now? Let's see. Verse 7 says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. God damn. A drunken woman and a gatherer abroad causeth great anger. She will not cover her own shame. A whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. And that's what you can see on this show. All them chicks on there, you know what I'm saying? They got that look. They got that super duper look of whoredom. It says, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And that's what you see out here with these chicks, man. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. See? And that's the problem with a lot of these, a lot of brothers. I can't believe it. You done. No, you should be expecting it. Actually, you should be surprised at it. At how long it actually took her to fucking do you dirty. Like, damn, it took this shit. You at least lasted this amount of time, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. Okay, it says she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler, and when he hath found a fountain and drink of every water near her, by every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. So what do you think that's talking about? That's talking about she gonna open up them legs to whoever, Now these days, they got so many choices, you know what I'm saying? But, they can choose and pick, but it's always they always got what they call a roster, Verse 13, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fat his bones. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. See? And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. And this is what this guy was talking about. He was like, shit, man, I'm not trying to, I don't want no goddamn challenge when it comes to dating you. Like, the fuck out of here. That shit should be simple. But this is the mindset. And matter of fact, it was one chick that was sitting there. She did say, no, that's the way women think. She did say that. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it back. I'm going to end out. I didn't want to keep it long. I just seen the video and just found it to be interesting, just the way these chicks be thinking, though.
Wait, Brian, did you just say that you don't like challenges?
Yeah, when it comes to dating, no, I don't.
Like, look how tired she look, bro. Like, that, she probably no more, she probably young, but this motherfucker is, that nightlife and all that shit done wore her ass down. She looking like a 50-year-old, man. And she probably she could probably enter no more than her 20s, man.
I think you're just self-admitting and not being an alpha, because that's what makes some relationships more exciting, and for the guys to keep pursuing, because if it was safe and stable, it kind of gets boring.
No.
That's how girls.
Okay, first.
See, that was that little, what appeared to be a little Moabite or Ammonite or whatever. But yeah, she said, no, that's how girls think.
If we're talking about dating, I absolutely engage in challenging things when it comes to my business, when it comes to all that. I'm not shying away from challenge. When it comes to dating, again, Proverbs 21:19, better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. I don't want my partner to be a challenge. I don't want to date a fence sitter chick. I don't want to date a girl who's playing hard to get, because if you play hard to get, you quickly become hard to want.
Cut her ass. But hey, man, this is what they're expecting, man. Let me see. But I mean, we could read all the way through this whole chapter, man. This chapter 25 and 26, man, is cold. Verse 15. Let's get a few more though. Ecclesiasticus 26 and 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. See? As the sun, when it ariseth in the high heavens, so is the beauty of a good wife and the ordering of her house. And there's a scripture that talks about, too, in Proverbs, that talks about how a woman tears her house down. Matter of fact, I think that might be, let me see something. I think that might be in, I know it's Proverbs. Can't think which one it is. Let me just put it in this. Yeah, she'll destroy her own damn house, bro. I've been seeing video after video after video of women just getting up and just leaving, man. The man with the damn kids. Yeah, I may not be able to find it, but roughly paraphrasing, it talks about how a woman, she tear down her own shit, man. Oh yeah, this is the one right here. I thought it was chapter 15, verse 1, but it's 14, verse 1. This one right here. It says, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. See that? So this is exactly what women do on a day-to-day basis. Yo. They'll have a good thing going, but because she's a gatherer abroad, you know, that's the reason why chicks shouldn't even be able to be out in public like how they are. You know, all that freedom, because they're not built like men. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, they see some shit. Matter of fact, they like the shoppers of the world. You know what I'm saying? They, oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I gotta have that. Ooh. And it's the same thing with niggas. They can't. It's not enough that they will have a decent man that'll treat them right, pay all the bills, do all that shit, go to work. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, be spoiling the shit out of them, giving them, you know, paying for their cars and paying for their, you know, everything that they fucking get. But that's not enough for a woman. She'll still she'll fuck all that up, man. Just because her eyesight, you know, just because, you know, that Eve mentality, you know, that's why the serpent came at Eve. The serpent didn't come at Adam. He came at Eve because he understood that, you know, she's got that eyeball and that curiosity, you know. But anyway, again, I didn't want to keep this long. I just seen that little video and was like, damn, homeboy hit her ass with a scripture. And, you know, if he's an Edomite, his ass going into slavery anyway, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, again, it's not a skin color thing. It has nothing to do with skin color. It has everything to do with, you know, who you come from as far as your father, because the seed line, it goes through your father. So, you know, I'm not saying that this guy is a complete damn Edomite, but he do look like one, you know, as far as, but we can't go by looks. We have to, you know, judge the spirit. So you got a lot of these red pill type of channels that be cutting into these chicks, man. But you know, a lot of them, these chicks, man, they be doofy as hell. They ain't got no damn sense like that. Can't even form a damn sentence. Only thing they got going for them is the ass, tits, and the face, man. That's it. That is it. So I'm gonna end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yasha Allah and the Bible Ball.